How's everybody doing? I got 2 thumbs up already. Oh my goodness. Y'all, it's 96 degrees right now. It's too hot. I got Martha Berry in the house. Hello, Martha. From north of Georgia, stormy weather here. Well, you can send some of that rain to me. We need it desperately here in Texas. It's so hot and dry. Everything's drying up. I think my light just burned out above me, but it's okay. It's not glaring in my screen. How's Martha doing this fine and dandy Sunday afternoon? I got my video done for in the morning, so that's set. It's uploading right now if it'll ever get finished. So I won't be up till 2 o'clock tonight uploading the video. Lucky's asleep in the chair on the other side of the table, the one I usually sit in. I got 14 watching. Only been live for 105 seconds. Been live just a little more than a minute. And there's Gladys. Hey, Gladys. I'm glad to see you feel good enough to be in our live this evening. And Corrine Garza, hello. Everybody's got to remember Gladys in prayer, not only for her health, but she just lost her sweet Bella, her little doggie. Caught you looking's in the house. You have the same last name as underrated country singer Randy Houser, who I'm a huge fan of. I can stay for about 30 minutes. Okay, well that's good. We'll take you 30 minutes. Dave Venturely's in the house. Hello from Tampa, Florida. How's the weather in Florida right now? It's too hot in Texas. It's triple digits every single day. Triple digits and above. And it's supposed to be that way for the next 2 or 3 weeks with no rain. The ground's cracking. Everything's drying up in the pots and the totes because I can't keep it watered enough. Yes, I'm happy you're here, Gladys. He's sleeping right now. He's happy. I went and got him some wet cat food today. I was out, so he didn't get any for his breakfast this morning. So he was in the house asleep, and I ran to Walmart, and I got his cat food, the wet cat food. I got him enough for 30 days. Come home and filled his bowl up, petted him a little bit, and told him to go ahead and eat his breakfast. He got over there and started eating. He didn't even come up for air. He said, "Oh, good, you got my breakfast. You got my wet food." In Tampa, you had a brief rain a little while ago, but we're not expecting rain this week. Oh, wow. Hey, I'll take a little bit, just enough to cool things off. And Dave Venturely said it's been raining here every day, like 2 hours a day. Wow. I wish it would here. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. It's just ever how the notion strikes him. Sometimes he wants to be outside. Sometimes he wants to be inside, and he'll sleep with me. Other times he's in another part of the house asleep. And there's Tamara Aimling. Hello, Tamara. How's the weather where Tamara is right now? It's still too hot in Texas, and it ain't getting no cooler with no rain. No rain in the forecast anytime soon. Yeah, we need rain here in Granbury, Texas. Yes, we all missed you big time, Gladys. Got 25 watching, 26. 7 thumbs up. That's not doing too bad for only been on for 5 minutes. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I got my video uploaded early today. Got it all taken care of. So I'm not going to be up to 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning messing with a video like I did last night. I didn't want to get up this morning, but I got up. I said, there's things I got to do. What TV shows you been watching? I really haven't been watching TV shows. I've been watching YouTube movies. You know, they have some really good movies on YouTube. And sometimes if I have time just to relax, I'll pick out a good movie on YouTube and watch it. Very warm and humid, but a bit of rain, which made it more humid and sticky. Oh, that's sad, but I'll take the rain if you'd send me some. I really would. We need rain desperately. Yeah, I keep checking the 10-day forecast. There is no rain whatsoever anywhere in the forecast for the next 10 days. And it shows 102, 103, 104 degree weather for the next 2 weeks. Tomorrow I'm working downtown Clearwater, but I've been in St. Petersburg for the past few months. It's downtown Clearwater by the police station. Oh, wow. Well, good for you. Caught you looking. What do you do? What do you do for your job? What is your occupation? Mine right now is retired and a YouTuber. That's my occupation. Full-time YouTuber, part-time retired. Man, I hate to see my electric bill when it comes this next time. Traffic control. Well, good for you. Are you like in an office? Or are you to work on the street? What type of traffic control? I hope if you're outside, it's pretty cool where you're at. Some of these nicknames, these YouTube nicknames are funny. Yeah, I know. I don't know where they come up with some of them, Dave, eventually. Like, caught you looking, that's that's pretty neat. It's catchy. Your folks live in Winter Haven? You work outside? Well, I hope it's not too hot where you work so you don't have to just roast in the heat during the day. I'd hate to know I was working outside all day long for 8 hours here. Oh, it would be unbearable. It's hot and humid in Tampa Bay, I bet. Dave eventually says, I'll work inside and stay cool. Well, most of the places I've ever worked, it's either been an office job or it's been an inside sales job, you know, like a sales rep or something. But the one time I got the part-time seasonal job at Lowe's, I did and I wasn't in it for 8 hours. I did the garden center, running the register out there to give people breaks and stuff like that. But thank God I wasn't out there for 8 hours. I don't think I could have stood it. I don't see how those other women worked out there all day long. I would have died. And there's Frida in the house. Hello. And Dave eventually says, I work for Moffitt Cancer Center. Well, good for you. Well, I've been staying inside, staying cool, but my poor plants are burning up, I tell you. And I've been watering like always. I water them on one day a week with the city water, the other day with the compost tea. But in this digit heat, it's not enough. My poor plants are just suffering something awful. I may lose some of them. I don't know. I mean, I've already lost some of the pepper plants I put out. They just couldn't take the heat. The ones that are planted in the shade are struggling, but they look like they're going to survive. And I still haven't transplanted the rest of those pepper plants. I think I'm going to put some of them in those pots that I planted the turmeric in, because there was only one pot where the turmeric tried to come up, and that's just one little blade, like a blade of grass sticking up, and nothing else, and it's stunted in its growth. It won't get any bigger. I don't know what the problem is. I think it's just the heat. So I may give up like I did my ginger and plant my bell pepper in each pot, and probably by the pepper start growing, the turmeric will come up. That's what happened to me with my ginger. I gave up on it. I didn't think any of it was coming up. So I planted tomato plants and I think a pepper plant in one. And when they started growing pretty good, all of a sudden the ginger came up. But the sun is about to burn it up too. I'd still be in Delta Airlines, but they busted our union when they took over for Northwest Airlines in 2011. And I took an early retirement plan. Is to start by pension in 2.5 years. Oh, wow. Really, Tamara, your dad had treatment at Moffitt Cancer Center, so you're familiar with that area. Well, that sounds like you got something good going on there. Caught you looking. You know, that happened to my brother with IBM in New York. He worked in one of the towers, and all of a sudden, IBM come through and told all of the ones that had been there at retirement, old enough to be retired, and wanted them to go ahead and retire to let new people come in. And my brother, he hated it. He did not want to retire. He wanted to keep working. But they made them take an early retirement. They give them full pension, per diem. I mean, they gave them a lot of benefits when they got them to retire, because they wanted to bring new, younger people into the company. And I said, well, thank God that they had my brother take his early retirement. My oldest brother, Billy, who's in Tucson, Arizona now. Because it wasn't too many years after that, 5, 6 years, I don't even remember how long it was after he took that early retirement, that the planes hit the towers and brought them down. I said, oh my God, thank God you retired when you did. I said, if not, you'd have been in those towers. I said, you'd have went down with the towers. So I said, God works in mysterious ways sometimes. We don't understand until years later, and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm glad I wasn't there, even though I hated to retire. I'm glad I was not in that building, you know? Corinne says, I'm a happy retired postal clerk, worked at Makaway. I can't pronounce that post office in Hawaii. Well, no wonder I can't pronounce it. It's a Hawaiian name. Those are like tongue twisters to me. You have to be drinking the happy juice around a pig picking or something in Hawaii to be able to pronounce names. And I've never heard it pronounced, so I don't have a clue as how to pronounce it. Makawea, Makaweo. I don't know. Maybe that's somewhere close. I know they're a little bit of a tongue twister, those Hawaiian names. Like some of these Japanese names and Chinese names, there's no way you can pronounce a lot of them. It's like, just take your best shot, you know? Like, wow. Yeah, like, wow. I can't believe some of the help wanted ads I've come across. And I've even had tons of emails sent to me from these companies like Goodwill, Postal Service, so many different job opportunities they've sent me emails for. And it blew my mind. They were wanting a sales clerk at the Humane Society sales office, you know, where they resell clothes, starting out at over $17 an hour. I said, holy crap. If I'd been making over $17 an hour, I don't think I would have wanted to retire. I'd have kept working at least a few hours a week. I've never in my life made $17 an hour. And that was to work at Goodwill. Go figure that. Yes, I am. I'm a Walmart or Target fan. We just don't have a Target here in Granbury. So it's been years since I've been to a Target. Because if I go to Target, I've got to go to Fort Worth. And they've changed the highways and everything up there between here and, you know, get it to Target up there to where I don't even want to live in Fort Worth anymore. But yeah, I say the Walmart Supercenter we have here, that's my one-stop shopping store. Because it's a supercenter. Just about anything you need is in Walmart. And if you need your oil changed in your car while you're shopping, you can get that done too. Yeah, in fact, I just came from Walmart. You know, part of my video that I'm going to post tomorrow is from Walmart. Yeah, we have Aldi, Walmart, Brookshire's, H-E-B, Kroger. Caught you looking, said, we're blessed in Florida because we have a Publix. Yeah, we don't have a Publix here. I've never been in a Publix. I don't even know what they look like. They may have them in Fort Worth. I don't know. Hi, Linda from North Georgia. Oh, I wish you'd send me some of that rain, Martha. We need rain. It's so dry and hot here. My garden's burning up. I mean, my plants are swiveling up from the heat. Oh, you get Publix subs? They're yummy. I haven't had a sub in a long time, but we have a Subway here that I usually go and get. The last Subway I got there was a meatball sub. I said, I've heard so much raves about the meatball sub, I had to try it. And it was good, but it had too much meatball. Those meatballs were that big around, and you got 3 or 4 of them on a 6-inch sub. It was all meat. I would have been happy with half of that amount in there. I could have made 2 subs with what they put in that one. And I love meatballs. But that was just too much meatball for me. So I've never gotten another one. And that was the last time I went in there. That's what I got. And the guy looked at me that was serving me like, you got to be kidding me. You're ordering a meatball sub. I could only eat half of it at one time. And it was just the 6-inch one. It wasn't a full-size one. Because, man, that was a lot of meat. That was about a pound of meat in half a sub. Half a sub. Post office pays really high and worth it working for if you ever have the opportunity to get in the door. Yeah, I applied for them many times years ago, and I never even got a response. It was probably a lot to do with my age. The one store I wish I had in Florida is a Giant Eagle. I went to school in Pittsburgh back in the day, and Pittsburgh had Giant Eagle. Great store like Publix. Oh, I've never heard of a Giant Eagle. I've heard of Publix before, but I've never been anywhere close to one of their stores. I don't even know where you'd go here in Texas to go to one. Like I said, they may have them in Fort Worth and Dallas. I don't know. I've not heard of anybody that said that they went to one. Your favorite sub place is Larry's Deli in Land O'Lakes, Florida. Well, like I said, we have a Subway here, and they have pretty good subs. You can get the foot long one, or you can get the 6-inch one. Usually, I get the 6-inch one, unless they've got a like half price sale on the foot long, and then I'll buy a foot long, and then I'm eating sub for 2 days. Because there's no way I can eat a whole sub. Oh my God, that's huge. Or more than likely, I'm eating it for 2 or 3 days, as big as it is. You like Firehouse subs or Jimmy? We don't have either one of those places here, Dave Venturely. The only place I know to get a sub is at Subway. Now, some of the other fast food places, like Jack in the Box and all those others, they may sell a certain type of sub, I think. I think I've seen 1 or 2 on some of them's menu but they're in the drive-throughs that I don't usually go through. Because for me, you got to pull across the highway to get into it, and it's where all that construction's going on. And I have a hard time getting in, and then I have even a harder time getting out to get on the highway. Because you got to go through all those cones and everything else where the construction's going on. Do I eat sushi? I have. I've been to some restaurants where I've eaten some sushi. Now, I haven't eaten a whole lot of it, but I have eaten sushi. I like it. I think they have a Firehouse in Fort Worth. We don't have one here. They did just open a seafood restaurant on the square. It was a Mexican restaurant, and it closed, and it's reopened as, I can't remember the name of it, but that's the only place in Granbury you can get fried oysters. And I've been wanting to go there just to try their oysters, but I'm afraid that their prices will be way out of my league. I mean, I've eaten good oysters in different places, but not Texas. I have never gotten a good oyster in Texas, because usually the restaurants here don't have them. I started to eat a little today. My heart's still broken. Oh, I'm sorry, Gladys. But Bella's in a better place. She's not suffering anymore. Chigger Digger's in the house. Hi, Linda from North Carolina mountains. Lots of rain here. A daily event. Flash flooding in many areas. Well, I don't need the flash flooding, but we need some of that rain. Send us some. It's a drought here in the triple digits every single day. Oh, Donna, tell me about it. She's eating buttered popcorn, and I love it. Oh, my goodness. I could eat a great big old bag of buttered popcorn right now. I haven't had popcorn in many years, and I'm not supposed to eat it because of the shell on it. Even the shellless popcorn has still got shell on it. So I quit eating popcorn, unfortunately, and I love it. I eat potato chips instead. Oh, AMC movie popcorn with extra butter. Oh my God. I could just eat my weight in that. If I could, but I can't. I'd have to get me a big bag of potato chips instead. Oh, Publix has $5 sushi on Wednesday. Oh, wow. That's good. Now, at H-E-B, they have like a sushi counter where you can get different types of sushi, and you can get the crab and rice rolls, or whatever they call them. You know, the slices, the way they do them. And I love those. My granddaughter loved them. The little crab and rice rolls, they roll up in seaweed and then slice them off. Those are so good. I'll eat some sushi, but not all. I do not want calamari, squid, oyster, or anything similar to that. Depends on what. We used to have Crazy Buffet in Tampa, but they closed years ago. Yeah, I've never eaten calamari, not sushi, or squid or oysters, not on a sushi bar. I've eaten a few other things, but it didn't seem like it was raw. It seemed like it was cooked fish to me. So I don't know if I've actually eaten the real sushi or not. Because sushi's supposed to be raw fish, right? Raw seafood. And everything I've ever eaten seemed like it was cooked somehow. And I know there is a way they say that the spices or what they put on the fish or the squid or the oyster almost gives it a cooked like texture. So I don't know. Oh, if it's good calamari, I do. But most of the calamari I've ever gotten that was fried, it was like chewing rubber, and I hated that. If I got to sit there and I'm still chewing after all the breading is gone and I'm chewing and chewing and chewing and you can't get that stuff chewed up, I don't want it. That's why I could never understand how people loved fried calamari, because to me it was like chewing rubber, an inner tube. Diana says, "Happy Sunday, Linda. Beautiful day here in Buffalo, New York. I just had a steak Kogi sub. We are home of the Buffalo chicken wings. I'd love to have some chicken wings right now. Oh my God. I've been meaning to buy some chicken wings and do a video on some chicken wings one time, because I don't think I've ever cooked chicken wings." Camera Ameling said, "I like fried calamari." Well, we have Six Flags Over Texas, but you got to go to Fort Worth or almost to Dallas to go to see it. And we used to go up there quite often in the summer, and we had a lot of fun up there. And the best part about it on a really hot day is getting on the rides that would spray you with water and cool you off. You didn't mind standing on the bridge when the float boats come down through there and splash water over the bridge. You just stood there and enjoyed it because it was cooling you off. And then we'd get in line many, many times off and on just to get into the ride that was indoors in air conditioning. And then one time we were at Six Flags, me and my son, my daughter-in-law, my granddaughter, and it come up a real bad thunderstorm, and it rained so hard, so fast, there was literally water running down the street where you were walking and around the curves, because it was like up on a hill, and the water was all running downhill. I thought to myself, oh my God, we're going to get flooded. But you didn't even mind getting wet from the rain on a day like that. It just felt so good to cool you off. And about every 5 minutes, I was having to stop and get something to drink because I was sweating so bad. And I was about ready to pass out. And I kept drinking and drinking and drinking. And my son looked at me like, "Mom, how in the world are you drinking that much liquid?" I said, "I can't help it, son. When I'm sweating this bad, I've got to drink something. Water, Coke, don't matter." Because none of them sweated the way I did. But I guess that's one thing that a heart murmur will do. It causes your heart to beat faster than the normal person. So it gets your body heat up real fast. You get hotter. Believe it or not, there's more public stores in Florida than there are, really, than Walmarts. That's hard to imagine. And we don't have any around here that I know of. If there's any in Fort Worth, I don't know. I've never heard of them. I've never heard anybody talk about Publix. Kohl's or places like that. Yeah, because we don't have one here. But, yeah. Yeah, Six Flags Over Texas is the biggest one up there. And then they've got water amusement parks where you can go and stay in the water and be on different things, you know, to entertain you in the water. The water slides and all that. The world's largest Walmart is in Alabama, New York, Albany, New York. Texas has no public stores. Yeah, I didn't think they did because I've not heard of them. I've never heard of a Publix in North Carolina either, but that doesn't mean there's not any there. But I've never heard of one. I've heard of it, of a public store, but I've never lived anywhere where they've had any or even close to one. I'm sorry, I keep drinking because I'm trying to keep my throat wet so I'm not coughing all the time. But the $5 sushi sounds like something I might go to a couple of times. We don't have any here. Because sometimes I'll go up to the counter and I'll get a tray or two of the sushi they have out. You know, and they've got each carton of it marked and they have the name of what it is in each one. And I usually get the crab rolls because I love those. Publix is in 8 southeast states. Huh. Well, North Carolina is southeast. But, you know, like I said, if they've got them there, I've not heard of them. So I don't know. Chigger Digger says, Linda, I'd like to start up doing the YouTube video thing. Any tips on doing startup? I have no idea. I just started doing videos and publishing them and trying my best to get subscribers. I didn't think I was ever going to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 viewing hours. Oh, I was about to give up when I finally hit 1,000 subscribers. And then I thought to myself, oh, I can breathe a little easier now. I've hit 1,000. Now I got to work on the hours. And then before I know it, once I hit that 1,000 subscribers, the hours came in easy, and I finally got monetized to where I could start making a few pennies off a video. That's one advice. If you start a YouTube channel, stick with it. Work hard at it. Don't give up. It might take you 10 or 11 months to get to the 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 viewing hours that you got to have within 12 months to get monetized. But you can do it. I did it. I almost gave up, and I'm so glad now I didn't, because I finally made it. And another bit of advice, stick with something that you enjoy doing. Like if you're doing videos on something, pick something you really like doing that you're not going to get tired of. You know, if you like cooking, do a cooking one. If you like crafts, do that. If you like outdoor stuff, do that. Or you can do like I do, mix it all up. Don't let them get bored with watching one video. I try to mix mine all up. I started my channel and I indicated right from the get-go it was on composting in place, gardening, cooking, what you grow, arts, crafts, singing, whatever comes along. That's what my channel is about. Whatever I want to put on the channel, that's what it is. Because you can get real tired real quick of doing the same thing all the time. There's now 61 public stores in North Carolina. Really? I wonder if there's one in Wilmington. They may have one in Wilmington. Maybe Wilmington is big enough, a big enough town that they would have a public store in it. Because that would be the closest to my hometown. It's only like 20 miles away. Publix I know is in Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Virginia, South Carolina, Tennessee, maybe North Carolina. I like the wood paneling behind you, rustic looking. Yeah, well, this is a pretty old house. I said it kind of fits my personality, I guess, because I'm just an old fogey anyway. So this is an antique house. I do all the old-timey cooking in mostly because that's what I grew up eating. And like I said, I've been allergic to a lot of food, so I'm limited on the ingredients I can put in a lot of dishes. A lot of people say, well, you need to fix this dish. It's got heavy cream or all this stuff in it. And I did cook one of the dishes that had a lot of heavy cream in it. It was so good, but I was throwing up after I ate it because I'm allergic to that heavy cream. And I shouldn't be eating it. But I forced myself to eat some of that. I said, I can't cook it and then throw it away and not eat any of it. But I don't cook much of that kind of stuff. I try to stick with stuff that I can eat because that's all my income can allow is for me to get the ingredients of stuff that I will eat. When I cook a meal for myself, I'm doing a video on it. So I'm eating whatever I'm cooking. I've been eating on my chicken and dumplings, but I ate some yesterday warmed up. I didn't want to eat any more chicken and dumplings today, even though I've still got a big bowl of it in there. So I ate something else and did a video on it, and I'll probably warm up some chicken and dumplings tomorrow and eat more. Because it's not going to go to waste. I love chicken and dumplings. I take Zyrtec. I used to take Claritin, but I took it for so long it didn't help anymore, so then I started taking Zyrtec. And if I go for like 3 days without taking Zyrtec, my head is hurting so bad. I feel like I've got a migraine. And all I got to do is take a Zyrtec and my headache goes away. So it's all allergies, Oh, Publix, Wilmington has two, Market Street and Bragg Drive. Oh, wow, yeah. So I bet some of my family probably shop at Publix there. No, we don't have Cracker Barrel here, not close to me. There may be one up in Fort Worth. I know Wilmington has Cracker Barrel because that's one of my brother's favorite places to go. And anytime I've went home and he's taken me out to eat with his wife, we went to Cracker Barrel. Because they had a buffet up there. And he liked the food that they had. And sometimes we didn't eat off the buffet. You just ordered something to the table. Cracker Barrel's chicken and dumplings are great. Mine are pretty good too. You got to put butter in it. You can't cook chicken and dumplings without some butter. You're not Southern if you don't put butter in your chicken and dumplings. I think it was Cracker Barrel. It may be in another store, a restaurant when we went and they had a buffet and my brother wanted to go in there because he liked the stuff they had on the buffet. And I started eating their clams on the shell, half shell. Oh my God, they were so good. I was about to make myself sick off of clams on the half shell. Yeah, everything in Cracker Barrel is great. Yeah, that was one of my brother's favorite places to go eat. I used to occasionally, because when I was going to college over there, I'd stop at some of the stores and I'd go by one of the produce markets they'd have on the weekends. It was called First Monday. They'd have a big produce place set up under a big rooftop. It looked like a big warehouse in there. It was so big. But I haven't even been to that in many years. But it was all fresh stuff, right from people's garden, It didn't come from a store. I love chicken nuggets dumplings. I've never had any chicken nuggets dumplings. I learned to make them watching you, Linda. Oh, so I know I fix chicken and dumplings, and I fix my dumplings a different way about every video that I do it in. Like I fixed them where you drop them off a spoon. I think I fixed them one time where I just pinched them and rolled them in my hand and put them in the pot. The last time I did it where you rolled them out and cut them like my mom always did. That's the way I kind of like them the best. Where you roll them out and cut them with a pizza cutter and make strips and throw them in the pot. Chicken and dumplings. I love my chicken and dumplings. I had one of my friends message me one time. She said she was watching my video, but she said every time she's ever fixed chicken and dumplings, the dumplings always fell apart and it was just mush in the pot. And I told her, I said, well, one of the things is, and it's a law of cooking chicken and dumplings, once you put your dumplings in the broth in the pot to cook, have the water boiling, drop your dumplings in. You can take a big spoon or something and kind of dunk them under the broth, but you do not stir them. Don't ever stir your dumplings. If you start stirring them, that's what breaks them all apart, and you're going to end up with just a slushy mush. They're not going to be dumplings anymore. So I told her I had just done a video on chicken and dumplings. I said, maybe watch it and see if there's something I did that you didn't do or whatever. And like the last video I did, I put an egg in the dumpling mix. And a lot of times, my mom, my grandma, and I never put egg in it. But they have a tendency to fall apart a little bit more if you don't put that egg in there. That egg is kind of like the glue to the dumpling. It will help hold it together. But if you put too much, like if you put an egg in and you don't have enough flour, it makes your dumpling turn into almost like a noodle texture. Almost like a lasagna noodle or something. And I don't like them like that. Now, I like noodles put in my chicken. You know, I can make chicken soup all day long and put noodles in it if that's what I want. But if I want chicken and dumplings, I don't want my dumpling to taste like a noodle, if that makes any sense. I use Bisquick. See, I've never used Bisquick to make dumplings, so I don't know how that turns out. How does it turn out for you, Tamara? Grandma called the rolled up and cut dumplings chicken and sticks. Chicken and slicks. Yeah, I've never tried Bisquick. I always use flour to start everything. Anything of that nature, I just use self-rising flour. It turned out amazing. Well, I'll have to try me some Bisquick one time, because I've never tried it. Maybe I'll even do a video. The next time I make chicken and dumplings, I'll get me a box of Bisquick and make them with that. Waffle House has awesome grits. You know, I've been to Waffle House a few times up in Fort Worth, but I've never ever gotten grits there. I didn't even know they had grits on the menu. I love grits when I cook them at home. I have grits and eggs with my bacon and sausage quite a bit, but I haven't had it lately. No, I went to Weatherford College here in Texas. I didn't start going to college till I was in my late 20s almost. And believe it or not, I quit school to get married years ago. So I didn't even have my diploma. So when I decided I was going to go to college, that was after my back and neck injury, because my surgeon advised me to go take computer classes. Well, I decided I wanted to take some college classes, and I needed my GED, so I went in. I didn't even go to classes. I went in one class one night, and I was like my son. I was so bored looking at that book. I said, looking through this book, and I'm telling me, you got to learn this. This is like putting me in a first grade class. I mean, it was silly. It's like, oh my God, this is like ABCs. I know all this. So I went in the next day and took my test and passed it, and then went ahead and enrolled in Weatherford College. I went over there for 5 years, and I wished I'd have transferred to Tarleton after 2 years, but I didn't. But I did get 2 associate degrees, one in business and one in computer science information systems, which I started out majoring in programming. But at least I've got those 2 associate degrees. And that helps me too because, it taught me a lot about computers to where I know I don't usually ever take my computer in to get anybody to look at it for repairs or anything else. I do everything myself. And I had all the math classes and everything. I could have just transferred to Tarleton, went another 2 years, got my bachelor's degree, and I could have ended up teaching or a lot of stuff. It would have opened a lot more doors to me than now. But my kids were living with me. I was raising 2 kids on my own. I couldn't be gone all the time. And I said, Stephenville was even a further drive than Weatherford. Weatherford was closer to me. And that allowed me to go to class, get home, have jobs, and still be home with my kids when I needed to be. Oh, it's the same as Bisquick? Well, I'll try making my dumplings next time with the pancake mix. Because I've got 3 boxes of it. I've got that all-purpose mix that you make pancakes or biscuits or anything with. And then I've got several boxes of just pancake mix. So I'll give that a try and see how that turns out. Oh, Joshua, you did a video on your quick start guide my charger came with. Well, good for you, Joshua. I never associated the pancake mix with Bisquick because I don't ever get Bisquick. I don't think I've ever bought a box of it. I just always go to the flour and I'll add other ingredients as I need it, I've just always started out with flour. I'm not one that always went and got box stuff. I always started from scratch and just built my own. Make sure it says baking mix. Huh. Oh, I know some recipes, if you use pancake mix, it says on the recipe to make sure it's the one that says to add water, not the one that says add milk, because I guess it turns out different. I don't know how the pancake knows whether you put water or milk in it. You tell me. But that's what the box said. It said to make sure you use the pancake mix that adds water, not milk. Yeah, I used that baking mix where it was baking mix, or you can do pancakes or whatever with it. But I think one where I messed up because everything on that box, anything that you made with it said add milk. And I went against what the instructions said to where use the pancake mix that asked for water. So that may have made a difference in one of the things, the way my coffee cake turned out. But it's good. I've been eating it. Sometimes I'll get up and eat a piece of it with my coffee in the morning. I did this morning. That's the only thing I ate until like 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. All-purpose baking mix is like a generic Bisquick. Well, see, I don't know all that. Because like I say, I don't usually buy box mixes for anything. A lot of times I don't even buy a pancake box. I don't buy a pancake mix. I'll use flour and add ingredients to make pancakes. I'll add a little bit of vanilla or maybe some little bit of sugar and milk, mix it up, and make me pancakes. That way I don't have to buy several different things and use the same base to make a lot of stuff. Yes, I know how to scan a QR code, Joshua. Yeah, they're not exactly the same. So my coffee cake may have came out a little bit better if I'd have used the pancake mix that asked for water. And I just used the first one I grabbed. I didn't even look at the other boxes I had. I mean, growing up, I'm used to eating cornbread dumplings in collard green juice. You know, everybody back home, when they cook collards or turnip greens or anything like that, they always kept their liquid and they dropped cornbread dumplings in it. And they were good, and I've never been able to make them like other people have made them. I don't know what ingredient they put in theirs that I don't put in mine. Mine are good, but they don't turn out like theirs did, like my aunt's did. My Aunt Doris used to make some of the best cornbread dumplings that went in her greens. Oh my God. We've been on here for almost an hour already, 51 minutes. And I got 41 watching, 25 thumbs up. Yeah, I do cooking videos, but I'm the first to tell you, I'm not no professional cook. I don't know everything about cooking. A lot of my cooking is through trial and error. And like I said, no recipe is written in stone. And that's how new recipes come about, is people just going through trial and error and inventing their own recipe. And if it turns out good, hey, they got a new recipe. If it turns out bad, they don't talk about it. Caught you looking says anything that contains corn or banana, I'm all in. Jiffy corn mix works well with fried squash. A little sweet, but a good taste. Yeah, and see, when I bread anything with cornmeal, I mix a little bit of flour and cornmeal together, put a little bit of sugar in there, salt and pepper, maybe a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, and I make my own. And that's what I usually batter my fish or anything I need cornbread batter with. And see, I'm not one to even buy Jiffy corn mix, muffin mix. Unless I've got a recipe that I was going to do a video on and it called for Jiffy corn mix, then I might go buy it. But I can't tell you how many recipes I've passed over because it called for Jiffy cornmeal mix or something. And I said, well, I'm not going to go buy a mix just to make this recipe. If I can't do this kind of recipe with cornmeal and flour, I'm not doing it. And that's me being a tightwad, not wanting to spend the money, because a lot of times I don't have that extra money to spend. So I have to make do with what I got here and do the best I can to come up with a recipe for a video. And that's the way I've always cooked anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. Because where I lived, it was probably a half-hour drive to the closest store, or sometimes longer. So if you didn't have a certain ingredient for a recipe, if you couldn't make that recipe without that one ingredient or be able to substitute it with something you had, guess what? You didn't make it. You learned to improvise. You learned what substitutes you could switch for, you know? And sometimes they turned out better than the original recipe, and sometimes not. Yeah, I've never used Jiffy cornmeal muffin mix to fry my squash. I've always mixed flour or either a little bit of flour and cornmeal and made my own and battered them and fried them. But that's, like I said, that's being me being tight on money and being conservative with cooking. And I've had to do that my whole life, so it's just the way I am, you know. I don't spend the money if I can help it because I don't have that money to just freely spend. I never heard of QR codes before, Linda. Well, they're codes that you can scan with your phone camera if you need to go to a certain website or register for something. A lot of times they'll give you QR codes to scan with your camera, and it'll give you the link to the website you need that you click on to go to do what you need to do. Like if you bought a new battery cell phone charger or something, it might come with a little pamphlet that has a QR code in it, and it'll tell you to scan that code to go to that website to register your charger or something under warranty or something like that. That has the quick start guide has on the cover. Yeah, you can scan that QR code with your camera, click on the link that shows on the screen below it, and it'll take you and give you information on your quick start guide, how to do whatever you need to do with that item. You just got ingredients to make Jiffy corn pudding. And see, I've never made Jiffy corn pudding before. I've heard of it, or cornbread pudding. I've never made any. Never, never. And see, that's the way the old people used to do. They were limited with what they could spend every month. They didn't have that much money to spend. So they had to improvise and substitute ingredients with what they had on hand. And sometimes they came up with a brand new recipe that was better than the original one. Yeah, if I have a recipe that calls for heavy cream, I substitute canned milk. That's what I usually do. Canned milk, the evaporated milk, or 2% milk if I have the 2%. Usually I have the evaporated milk on hand, so that's what I'll use. But the heavy cream and the whole milk, I can't use. I'll be throwing up all day from it. It was taco soup or something like that Jennifer or Stephanie sent me the recipe for that used to be, it belonged to Dennis, her uncle that passed away. You know, the dentist that used to come into our lives a year or so ago. And she said, here, this is one of Dennis's favorite recipes for taco soup. You need to cook it. But it had all this heavy cream and stuff in it. Well, I went ahead and cooked it. Oh, it was so good. But I'll guarantee you, it wasn't 15 minutes after I ate a bowl of that I was throwing it up. So I didn't eat all of it. I only ate a bowl or two of it because I knew I was going to throw up. And I haven't fixed any more since. Not that I've got to put heavy cream or anything in. Joshua, I don't know what newer quick start is. Usually they send you a QR code with the item that you've just purchased, maybe a technical piece of equipment and something that you got to do certain things to get it activated. You have to go to their quick start guide, and it gives you instructions on how to get started using that product. Grandma's corn pudding is so much better than Jiffy recipe. See, that's what I say. I mean, a lot of times you don't need to buy those box mixes. You can use your flour, your cornmeal, and other ingredients, and it'll come out just as good, if not better. Yeah, the dentist that used to come into our lives, what, a year or so, 2 years ago? He did pass away. And Stephanie, she kept coming into the lives every once in a while using his name, his channel to come in. And she was keeping us updated. And then she come into a live one night and said she was getting married and all kind of stuff. And then later she said, well, we got married, everything went good. Now I'm expecting our first child. And then I quit hearing from her. I think she had a little girl, I'm not sure. But after that, I didn't hear from her anymore. Yeah, Jiffy is only $1, not expensive. No, a lot of that kind of stuff is not expensive, but sometimes that dollar has to go toward another food item. And if you spend that dollar for Jiffy, maybe you can't get this other thing over here. I mean, that's how my grocery budget's been just about all my life. Even that $1 matters. I mean, on my grocery list, I may have needed to buy bananas or onions or something else that I could get for $1 or two. And if I'd have bought that box of Jiffy, maybe I would have had to done without something else for a recipe. So I just used the flour or cornmeal. Oh, you remember him, Candy Cane? You just weren't in chat then, but you listened. Yeah, he was a neat person. I mean, I thought a lot of him, and I hated it when he passed away. Just like Anthony. I miss Anthony. He was the life of the chat. He was the life of the live chat, Anthony was. And he's somebody that we do miss. All the people that came into my live chat when Anthony was around, they all know what I'm talking about. He entertained us all. You found something new at Disneyland Paris, Linda, Disney Princess Cavalcade. Huh? You're always coming up with something new for Disneyland. Yeah, we have had several different dentists, but this dentist was a couple of years ago, and he kept coming. He was in just about every single live we had. And then sometimes Stephanie, his niece, would come in and chat with us, and she'd let us know, oh, it's Stephanie now, it's not Dennis. She was just using his chat. And then I don't remember what he passed away from, but Stephanie come into the live to let us know that he passed away, and all about the funeral and stuff like that. And then she come in later and told us all about her wedding and when it was going to be. And then later about her first baby getting ready to be born. Yeah, there is a DS and grandkids. That's the DS dentist. It's DS and grandkids. And he doesn't come into the lives anymore. I think he got mad at me about something. I don't know. But as far as I know, he still posts videos with his grandkids and shorts with his grandkids. They go fishing and different things. I kind of catch some of his videos. I don't have time to watch them all. Yeah, he was kind of rough shape, but he was fun. I think he hit the bottle a little too much or something, and it made him kind of, well, too relaxed, if you could call it that. I don't know. Sure, Joshua, you can email me a video of it. If it'll go in a video. If it's too long, it won't send it, but you can try. Well, you can do that, Joshua. You can share it or mention me in the post. That's fine. A lot of times I do mention people's channel if I know you've got a channel. I mean, a lot of people have signed up for channels, but a lot of people do that just so they can come into lives and sign in to YouTube to be part of live chats and stuff like that, but they're not active posting anything on the channel. So unless they tell me they've got a channel, then I don't know to say anything about it. Yeah, I can't believe the fish that Dennis and his grandkids caught. I'm telling you. I said I need to go fishing with them. But they're a little bit too far from here for me to go fishing with. No, I emailed him and I sent messages to him and I told him I was not mad at him. Not at all. I thought it was kind of cute and I felt kind of touched that he thought that much to do that. You know, most people would not have. So yeah, I messaged him many times and told him not to worry about it, that I was not upset with him. But he didn't come back in. And then when I tried to go to his live chats that he had, he ended up blocking me. So I couldn't even communicate him, so I quit emailing him. I said, well, I don't know what that's all about. I didn't do or say anything to him. So, you know, I don't dwell on it. Yeah, he was just worried. He was worried about me because I didn't show up in a live one night, because usually I had scheduled a live for every one of those nights every week. And I was so surprised when I had a knock on my door and there was a police officer outside. And I said, what's going on? And he said, oh, don't worry. He said, nothing's wrong. He said, this is just a welfare check. He said, do you know somebody named Dennis? And I said, yeah. He said, in Florida? I said, yeah. He said, well, he called in that you might need a welfare check, that you usually go live on YouTube that night. And I wasn't live that night. Well, I hadn't scheduled a live. So I don't think anybody would think anything of it if I wasn't live that night. It wasn't scheduled. But he got concerned. And no, I was never mad at him for doing that. And I tried to make him understand that. I was not mad at him at all. Maybe he was a little embarrassed. I don't know. I know Candy Cane. It was pretty thoughtful. Yeah, the officer said he was just calling in. He said he wanted somebody to go out there and check on me to make sure I was okay. So the officer came out and did a welfare check. I told him, I said, well, I'm fine. There's no problem. And I said, I'll send a message to Dennis and I'll let him know I'm okay. And I did. But he only come back into my lives a couple of times after that, and then he just quit coming. But it's okay. I mean, he's got his grandkids to deal with, and he's got his own life to worry about. I wish him well. I have no hard feelings toward him. Some people overreact over nothing or trivial things. Yeah, that's true. And he could have been a little bit too relaxed that night that he called in, and that probably made him think about it a little bit more. I don't know. But no, there's no way I ever got mad at him over doing that. Yeah, Tamara, I was never mad at him. It was like, oh, wow. Somebody that lived that far away thought enough to call the police station and ask for a welfare check on me. But I was never mad about it. Never upset, never mad. Yeah, like I said, my first reaction was, oh, wow. You know, how did I rate that? Yeah, we've had quite a few people in our live chats that have come in over the time that I've been with YouTube and doing lives. And for one thing or another that happened in their lives, they're no longer here. And I miss all of them. I wish all of them were back. Dennis, Anthony, Bless his heart, Anthony kept me entertained. He really did. And I'd check some of his videos that he did on his house demolition, and he was a character. Zaytoven Sushi. That was your cousin? Anthony was your cousin? Is the barbecue in Texas all that is cracked up to be? I've heard Texas barbecue and Memphis barbecue. Yeah, it's pretty amazing out here. That's one thing I can say. Texas has good barbecue. And when I first come out here, you ask for pork barbecue, pulled pork, they look at you like you lost your mind. You're in cow country. We don't have pulled pork out here. We do have one pulled pork restaurant now, right off the square. But that's only been there a couple of years now. And I've never been to it. I keep saying I'm going to go try it, and I've never been in there. Okay, I'll check later, Joshua. Yeah, I think he meant Anthony was his cousin. I think. I'm very sorry. Knock, knock, knock. I'm at your door. Were you talking about that Anthony was your cousin or Dennis? Hey, Linda, good to see you. Hi, Joan. Good to see you. Jared? Anthony? Jared was his cousin. Well, I was talking about Anthony and Dennis. I don't know Jared. He's saying shut up now, so I don't know. Don't know what you're talking about. Okay, my name is D40. Tamara says, tick, tick, Zay. Well, y'all got a language going on of your own, because I don't know what y'all are chatting about. I don't know, Joshua. He could be. I don't remember him ever being in chat before. Yeah, that's what I was starting to think with some of those last comments he made. That he was one of the trolls coming in. And I checked one of the last couple of lives that I had, and I didn't see any bad comments at the end. So if there was any that came in after I ended the live, my moderators must have taken care of it, or maybe they didn't really have time to put it in. I don't know. Zaytoven Sushi says the 2024. You're in Munchie, huh? I don't know. You don't act like you sound like you're thinking straight. Yeah, Tamara's giving him a small chance. Because he don't sound like he's thinking straight. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe you've been hitting the sauce a little bit much. Maybe you're a little bit too relaxed. You're either a little bit high on life, or you've had a little bit too much to drink. First, I'm a kid. How old a kid are you? And this person needs to be hidden from the chat. He's 7 years old. No wonder he sounds crazy. Yeah, then go to bed. It's past your bedtime. I don't know where you live, but it's probably 8 o'clock where you're at. That's bedtime for a 7-year-old. Kidding, I'm 19. As long as he behaves himself and he doesn't say anything vulgar or really bad, he's okay, but I was beginning to wonder there for a minute. He gets any worse than what he does, then somebody can take him out for a bit. Take him out and readjust his attitude. Look at that frown. Oh, me. I have too much fun in the chat. I really do. I don't give out my number. My number's 2026. I'm a cop. Yeah, I bet you are. I'm an FBI agent too. You didn't know that, did you? Do not ask for people's numbers right here, right there. Right, you don't ask for people's numbers. Caught you looking, wants to remove him real bad. Yeah, if he's a cop, he needs to go catch a bad guy. I don't know what kind of name that is. Zaytoven Sushi? That was cream. There's a chat, old lady, so I don't know what YouTuber said on... What? That statement doesn't make sense. Exactly, Tamara. He's only welcome here if he's kind and polite to others and watches what he says in chat. Joan says, I'm Trump and you're fired, Zay. He's probably not there, but above in comments, he threatened to kick your door down. Really? I didn't read that. I know, that's the reason I said he's had a little bit too much to drink, or he's high on something, because he don't act like he's got good sense. He's not thinking straight. I don't know either. Maybe he's had too many six-packs this afternoon. You know, some men, when they don't have nothing better to do on a hot day, that's what they do. They sit back and start piling up the six-packs and watch TV. Yeah, I didn't see that comment. Sometimes I don't get a chance to read every single comment that pops up. Sometimes they pop up too fast. Anyway. So, have y'all got some big plans for this week? I don't have any plans whatsoever. I might try to transplant some of those pepper plants in the pots where the turmeric didn't grow. And I know just as sure as I do, it'll be just like the ginger. I gave up on the ginger, and after I planted tomato plants in the pots, the ginger started coming up. But maybe that's what it'll take, is me to put a pepper plant in each one of those pots where I planted those turmeric tubes to get them to come up. I use the Clairol. I think it's Clairol. And I switch around to different colors. Light brown, lightest brown, darkest blonde. No, that's correct, Tamara. We don't want to get stuck on that topic with him. What's my favorite pasta? I love spaghetti. If it's good spaghetti with meatballs or spaghetti with ground meat, ground beef in it, I could eat it all day. I love lasagna. I love mac and cheese because that's pasta. I love linguine. I love angel hair pasta. In fact, I've got a box of angel hair pasta that I need to cook. I love what is it, linguine? Is it shrimp sauce and linguine? There's several of the seafoods I like the sauces of served on linguine. That's almost a tongue twister to me to say the name, linguine. But I love pasta dishes. I really do. I grew up eating a lot of pasta. I buy the cheapest brand, the one I can afford. The one I get is like, it went up from what it used to be. It was only like $2.97 a bottle. You get it in a box. And now it's $4.97 that I buy. Let me go get a box, because I think it's Clairol. I don't know. I don't remember. Oh. I can't believe I've been saying Clairol. Candy Cane said, now I want spaghetti. Have you tried L'Oreal? I've been telling everybody Clairol because that's what me and my mom used many, many years ago. I was only like 16, 17, and I'd put color on my hair then, just to darken the shade a little bit. It's Revlon. Revlon is what I use. It's about the cheapest hair color you can buy at Walmart. And it works fantastic. It's never irritated my scalp or anything, because I was afraid when I first started using it I'd be allergic to it, but I'm not. It says Bond Repair Complex Color Silk. 98% less breakage when you use this. And it 100% covers your gray. And I know that works because I have got gray. It's got moisture and strength conditioner in the conditioner of it. So yeah, I mean, this is the one I use. This is the one I like. I've used it for many years. But I remember years and years ago, my mom colored her hair all the time. But that was before they came out with the permanent hair dye. And hers, you shampooed it in, but every time you washed your hair after that, it would gradually wash out and fade away. And she got tired of doing it, so she quit coloring her hair. And later, when I started using the Revlon, I told Mom, I said, Mom, I said, they've got a permanent hair dye now that you can color your hair with. And I said, you could do it the same color you always did before, and it won't wash out. It'll have to grow out. She said, oh, well, she said, I have not colored my hair in so many years now, I'm not even going to fool with it. So, well, it's got some curl left in it because I took a shower before I went to Walmart and I shampooed my hair. And actually my hair was wet when I went to Walmart because I just, let it down, combed it out, and let it go. And I went to Walmart and my hair was soaking wet. By the time I got to Walmart, it was half dry already because it's so hot out there. So by the time I got home, it was completely dry. And when I was doing my cooking video this afternoon, I did pull it back, in a ponytail, like just right behind my head. But then after I got through with the video, I took the scrunchie out of it. It's thundering, y'all. Oh my God. Is there a possibility we'll get all of a sudden thunderstorm and it'll rain? Or is it just going to thunder? But they didn't call for any rain. Usually I pull my hair up and it's so tight, like back in a ponytail or flipped up on top of my head, and it straightens my hair out. So when I take it down, it's kind of wavy, but it doesn't look curly. I mean, you can actually see that it is got a little bit of curl in it now. It was a little bit more than that before I pulled it straight back to do the cooking video. Well, I didn't dye mine after the chemo when my hair first fell out because it came back so kinky curly. It looked like I had an afro from the time it started growing out. It was like little corkscrews, and it was gray. It looked like it was fluorescent white. But after the fuzz, the curliness, because my hair's never been that curly, after it grew out and I kept keeping it cut short to let it grow out, I started coloring it back. My hair was only about 1 inch or 2 inches long all over my head when I started coloring it back. And I colored it for my daughter's wedding. Her wedding was coming up. My hair had just grown out to where all that frizz was off of it. And it was back to like natural curl. And it was still the natural gray. And I didn't want to have it look like that to go to the wedding. So I did put a light brown color on it. And my son said it looked great. He loved it. So at my daughter's wedding, my hair was light brown. But it was short, really short. And sometimes I wish it was that short right now. Then I wouldn't have to mess with it. Oh, mine came back so kinky curly. It looked like I had stuck my finger in an electrical outlet and it just frizzed my hair up. You cannot believe how kinky curly my hair was when it first started going back in and how white it was. I mean, after it grew out and started getting normal again, it wasn't that gray. It was like salt and pepper. And there was more gray on top than back here. But when it first started growing in, it was like fluorescent white. I could glow in the dark. I don't know. My hair was straight after chemo and thin. Yeah, mine is a lot thinner now than it used to be. But I've been taking a lot of vitamins, and I took like a hair growth hormone pill for a month, and that's helped tremendously. But yeah, my hair used to be so thick. A regular clip-on hair clip, I could not put in my hair because you couldn't fasten it. You couldn't click it. My hair was too thick. Now, I could use one like this because it stretched, but I couldn't use one of the metal clips or plastic ones that click together. My hair was way too thick for it. Now I can put anything in it. I mean, it's like half my hair's gone. I said thank God that at least half of it came back. And it was so thick to begin with, or I wouldn't have any hair right now. Your grandma had granddaughter's 7 and she has curly hair. I bet she's pretty. Barbara Wisehour has been fighting cancer for over 15 years. I'm so sorry. Well, everybody say a prayer for Barbara, that God will take that cancer away from her body. Well, I think my hair is a little thicker now than it was when it first came back. And used to, I had a lot of hair on my arms and my legs. You can look at my arms right now. I don't have any hair. It's like you look at it just right at the light, and I might have a little bit of peach fuzz on my arm. And my legs, I don't have like a fraction of the hair growing on my legs that I used to. I used to say I had man legs. I had so much black long hair. I had to shave my legs about every other day. I'm just thank God I do have some hair right now. But sometimes I fussed about my hair. It was so thick. It was just so thick I didn't know what to do with it. And then I cut it up in layers, and that helped thin it out just a tiny bit. And it looked really good in shorter layers. And I thought about several times this summer cutting it short, in short layers, because, it's still in layers, but it's getting so long till the short layer, which is the top, is almost about to catch up with the bottom layer. And usually before now, I would have just gotten aggravated with my hair and I'd have whacked it off because I cut it myself. I would have cut it off myself this summer already, like I have done in the past, but somehow I've just let it go. I guess because when I start working and doing videos, I need to pull my hair back, get it out of my face. If I'm in the garden working, I sweat so bad I need my hair pulled up, and it helps keep me a little cooler. And if I cut it in short layers, I can't do that. I'm going for CAT scans tomorrow. I hope it's okay. Oh, me too. We'll all say a prayer for you tonight that when you go in tomorrow, everything is going to come out just fine. And see, that was the thing on me. Anytime I went in for blood work when I was going through the cancer center, they said there was never ever any cancer cells in my blood whatsoever, which was a good thing. Because usually if it's in your blood, that means it's all over your body by then. Oh no, breast cancer that went into your lungs. I am so sorry about that. Well, we'll all say a prayer that God will heal your body. That He'll get rid of that lung cancer and get rid of that breast cancer, and that you'll be fine. Yeah, pray for good results for Barbara tomorrow. Well, that's what they give you chemo for, Joshua, is it kills all the cancer cells, but it kills a lot of good cells with it too. Sometimes I think the cure is worse than the illness. Yeah, we'll be with Barbara in spirit tomorrow. Yeah, she's got an army behind her. And you'll have to come back in our next live and let us know how things went. Which may even be tomorrow night, I don't know. I've told everybody that I was going to try to go live every night. I mean, I don't have a program set up or anything. It's just a chat, catch up with people, ask questions, whatever you need. So it just depends on how tomorrow goes. I may go live, I may not. There you go, Olga. She's already said a prayer for Barbara. Yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed for Barbara that she's going to get good results tomorrow. It has dropped down to 91 degrees here, which is surprising. Because last night it was still like 96, 95 at this time. But I think it was a couple of degrees cooler today than it was yesterday. But it'll be right back up tomorrow. Well, I heard that one loud thunder boomer, and it's gone. I don't hear any more. I mean, I wouldn't even care if it was thundering and lightning a little bit if we got some rain. It's going to be 100 tomorrow. Yeah, I know it will be here, at least 100, if not higher. Yeah, not a speedy recovery, immediate recovery. Because that's the way the good Lord works. It's here today, gone tomorrow. You never know. Oh, me too, Joshua. That's what it does here, thunder and no rain. Well, we got a real good thunder boomer, like, man, it was just going to come up a downpour. And that was all. It just, that one rumble and roll, and now nothing. But a lot of times when it's this hot here in Texas and this dry, instead of it raining, we get hail. I mean, I'd love to have some rain, but I don't want any hail. Maxine is liking my hair again. She wants hers to be shiny like yours. Well, I don't know if she uses hair color or not. I just showed everybody what I used. Revlon. From Walmart. The cheapy stuff. And it works fantastic. And this is light golden brown, but I use probably a different shade every time I put it on my hair because I never can get the exact same shade every time. Usually they're sold out. If I buy one for a couple of times, it's sold out one time. So I have to go to a darker or a little bit shade lighter. All the time I can't get the exact same color. So I go with, like, this one is the light golden brown. I go with the lightest brown, darkest blonde, anything that's a shade closest to what I'd been using. Heat, lightning sometimes here, no rain, yeah. And Texas is known for their lightning storms. You'll get lightning like crazy. I mean, it's flashing everywhere and no rain. It's just a lightning storm because of the heat. I kind of got a little scared of it one time when we had a lightning storm. Oh my God, there was lightning flashing out there everywhere, and I mean really cracking loud. I was so afraid it was going to hit something close by. I think that Loving Care, because I used a black hair dye on my hair one year right after we moved to Texas. And everybody told me at the pool, they said, well, Linda, when you're out there in the sun, when the sun is shining on your hair, it looks blue. I remember them telling me that because I never knew that. And after that, I went to a different shade. I didn't use the black anymore. If I was under the shade, it didn't look like, but if I was there where the sun hit it, it looked blue, dark blue. Remember, I met you on Simply Jane's Homestead, Tamara. We've been on almost 2 hours now. It was supposed to take the brown out of the gray hair. Oh no. Well, I thought I wanted to go back naturally gray, so I got some of that stuff that you shampoo in your hair that removes all the color. Oh my God, thank goodness I had extra hair dye here. My hair looked terrible. It was yellow in places, it was white in places, it had brown streaks in places. So that stuff don't work as good as they say on those instructions. And it tells you if you use it to have hair dye ready in case you don't like it. Well, I didn't like it, so I immediately dyed it back. I said I would not even be seen in public with my hair like that. Oh, Joshua's talked to Barbara before. Well, it was black hair dye that turned my hair blue. Turned it a dark blue. And they said it looked like a blue halo around your head when you're out in the sun. When I'd walk out to the swimming pool and get out from under the canopy top. They said, you look like you got blue hair. Well, I guess I did have blue hair from that dye. Well, needless to say, I'd never use that black hair dye again. I started going to lighter colors. And then one time out here, I was platinum blonde. And could you imagine me going from this color, a normal brown hair, which mine was the normal color when I first moved to Texas. It was the natural color and it was brown. And I went to platinum blonde. I looked like a different person, but everybody said, oh, you look so good. But my dad, he fussed about it. He didn't like it. He told my mom one time, he said, "You reckon she'll ever go back to her regular hair?" Because he hated my hair. And I did. I went back to the regular color, my natural color, just because, my dad was upset about it. And I've never went that light blonde again. You might call me Blue. Well, that would have been a good nickname for me back then, Joshua. Everybody could have called me Blue. My son had a little dog that he named Blue one time because he had blue eyes. That was the sweetest dog. Well, in fact, he still got him, but he's getting up in years. He's not as frisky as he used to be. He's slowed down. Candy Cane said, "I tried to highlight my hair one time, and that's about what it looked like." Well, Maxine's hair had a blue tint one time after she was fixing an old shotgun. It was kind of rusty color before she started on it. Oh my goodness, Terry. Yeah, everybody's been telling Joshua that, ask him if he knew his name was in the Bible. But I didn't know the meaning for Joshua was that God saves. I never knew that. That's nice to know. Terry, you'd be a comedian for a little bit. I got to come up with another contest pretty soon. I was trying to think of something different than what we've been doing, but I don't know what it would be. Any suggestions? Oh, I was going to do a Labor Day, but I mean one between now and then, but I was going to try to come up with a contest for every holiday. But I was trying to think of one for this month, and I don't know. Mr. Fekal's fur is somewhere between rust orange and dookie brown. Oh my goodness. I wish I had a remedy for my swollen eyes. I hate my eyes. Yeah, that's exactly right. There's not too many more weeks before we'll have fall weather. And I've been wondering what our winter's going to be like this year. It's cooled off some more, 90 degrees. And it says they're windy, but the wind's not blowing here. It might be wherever that thunder went. I see a lot around here has fall. Yeah, I've seen a few Halloween signs out different places. I've been wondering what some of these signs were. Like on the roadside, it had Halloween something on it with an arrow pointing that way like you're coming down this way. And I said, well, I haven't seen anything Halloween down this way, so I don't know. Yeah, the older you get, the quicker time goes by. Yeah, I was told the same thing when I was young, caught you looking, and I didn't understand what they meant either. But you know, when you're like 10 years old, you can't wait to be 13, or you can't wait to be 16, and then you can't wait to be 18, and it seems like it takes forever to get there. And then once you're 18 years old, oh my God, the time is just gone. Who has caught you looking? Well, he's in chat. That's what his name is in chat. Caught you looking. But even my days are shorter. I mean, the time is just going by so fast. And I guess maybe when you get to be my age, it's the time you want time to slow down. You don't want time to go past as fast. Bye. You know, I don't believe I'm my age already. It feels like yesterday I was 27 years old and moved to Texas. I'm 75, Barbara says. Yeah, I'm 78. I got 3 years on you, Barbara. No, Halloween isn't here yet, but I've seen signs of Halloween already. And Thanksgiving is not even over yet. Well, they don't have any Halloween out. I mean, Thanksgiving out, but I've seen a lot of Halloween signs. And I guess they should, because Halloween comes before Thanksgiving. But I haven't looked in some of the stores. I'm sure most of the stores is all, I didn't even notice in Walmart in the toy section or anything if they had Halloween stuff out yet. But stores like Lowe's and Home Depot, usually they have a big display up in the front of the store of all the statues and different things you can put out on your lawn that light up. Ghosts and goblins and pumpkins and all that kind of stuff. Well, thank you, Barbara. I try. I said I'll try to live right. Maybe that helps. I never did drink alcohol. I don't smoke because I was always allergic to it. But I've got swollen eyes and I don't know what to do about them. I hate my swollen eyes. It makes me look terrible. And I never had any of that until after chemo. I just started going steadily downhill after all that. I don't think I've ever completely recovered from it. I bet Barbara doesn't know I like Disney stuff. I bet nobody could guess you like Disney stuff, Joshua. What would make you think that we knew you liked Disney stuff? Well, I didn't for a long time and my eyes started puffing up like crazy. But now even if I get sleep, they're still puffed up. I mean, there was some weeks there, even back when I was working, that I didn't sleep all night and I'd go to work and work for 8 hours the next day. Sometimes I didn't sleep for 2 or 3 nights in a row and I'd go to work the next day. And that's when my eyes started puffing up. And they've been puffy ever since. I sleep more now than I did. Now there's usually about 1 or 2 nights a week that I don't sleep. And there's Pippin time in the house. Anyone comfortable sharing what part of the country is everyone in? We're in Texas, New Mexico line. You're on the border. You couldn't make up your mind if you wanted New Mexico or if you wanted to stay in Texas. It's hot either place. No, I've never tried tea bags or cucumber slices. I don't know. I don't know if they'd work or not. Tamara Ameling's from Ohio. I'm from mid-central or north-central Texas. Put wet tea bags on your eyes. I might try that. Tea bags that have been used or brand new tea bags. I might have to make me a cup of tea and then use the wet tea bag on my eyes. Joshua was in Arkansas. Caught you lookings in Tampa, Florida. Linda 3853 is in central Oklahoma. Barbara Weiser is in the mountains. I bet it's cooler in the mountains than it is here. It usually is a few degrees cooler in the mountains. Central Oklahoma. Pippentine, Ohio, been through there twice is all. Well, I've been through every state between Texas and North Carolina, and then North Carolina and New York. Because we've traveled by car to each place several times. But never really stopped and did anything, you know. I'm half Okie and good family friend named Linda there. Pippentine. Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Candy cane. Been hot there this summer? Candy cane, you been to see Dolly? You been to Dollywood? You probably go there quite a bit, living in Tennessee. Shay Patrick, hello, welcome to chat. Naples, Florida, wow. Pippentine. You don't want to confuse Pippentine? You went to Pigeon Forge on a day on your honeymoon? Oh, wow. I guess that was a good time. Since it was your honeymoon. I know my mom went with my brothers and their wives in North Carolina. They drive up to Dollywood about once a year the last couple of years she was alive and was able to travel. I've never been there. I said, Mom, y'all ought to let me know you're going to Dollywood sometimes and maybe I could meet you up there or something. But they never did. They just went when they wanted to go. But it was so easy for them, you know. They were on the coast of North Carolina around the Wilmington area. And it wasn't a big deal for them to drive to Dollywood from there. Barbara, my garden is not either. This triple-digit weather is just frying my garden. I'm not able to keep it watered enough, and I'm afraid I'm going to lose a lot of my plants. Oh my. Terry said Maxine will put on some kind of face mask on every once in a while. Reminds me of Yoda on Star Wars, but she swears by it. There are 3 places in Florida I want to visit: the Keys, Pensacola, and Naples. There's a bar on the Florida-Alabama line called Floribama that I'm dying to go to. Kenny Chesney has a song called Floribama. Really? I didn't know that. I do too. I've got all of my garden in pots and totes and 5-gallon buckets. But still a lot of it's just I water it on my watering day, and then I water it another day, several days later, from compost tea. But even twice a week like that, my garden is dying. I mean, it's just burning up. The ones that are under the shade trees are doing a lot better because they don't get that direct heat from the sun. But anything that's right out in the sun all day, oh, I'm just wondering if it's even going to survive. I mean, naturally, the ones that I fixed, the totes and the buckets with the water reservoir in the bottom, they're doing a lot better than some of the other pots because not all of my pots have water reservoirs in the bottom. And then I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got 6 raised beds, and there's no water reservoir in the bottom of those, so the water just goes straight through. And in this heat, oh my gosh. The deer and ground, yeah. I had a groundhog that would eat every flower bulb in my rock garden out beside the street. And I was wondering, well, why can't I keep anything alive? I keep putting flower bulbs out there like daylilies and all kind of flowers. And they disappear before a lot of them could even come up and bloom. And I realized it was groundhogs. So they told me to get those air spinners, those little spinners that kids love, that they hold up and the wind blows them and they spin. Get some of those and stick them in your garden, and it'll drive the groundhogs away. Well, I didn't believe it, but I said it's worth a try. I went to Dollar Tree, and they had a whole bunch of little spinners like that for $1. And I bought a handful of them, and I come home and I stuck them down all over the rock garden. Sure enough, that groundhog did not like those spinners. There's just when that thing is spinning, there's a little bit of vibration that goes down the stick, and it vibrates in the ground. Not enough that we even notice, but the groundhog hates them, and they will leave that area and they will not come back. So I don't know where your groundhogs are bothering your plants, but get some of them little spinners. I need more out there right now, and I can't find some inexpensive ones, and I'm not going to pay $15 for a spinner. I mean, I do have one out there that was pretty expensive, but it's not like the spinners that I get, to ward off the groundhogs. It don't spin that much. Yeah, my mom had my brother, when she was alive, she had put a garden in her backyard, and she had my brother put like a 6-foot fence up all around her garden. It does not keep the deer out. They will jump the fence. I mean, it would have to be a 20-foot high fence to keep a deer out, because they can jump a pretty good distance up. Well, one thing they say that the deer don't like is Irish Spring soap. You can get a bar of that soap and just chop it up in little chunks or cubes and put it around like in something like a piece of a lady's stocking so the scent comes out, and tie it on sticks or something around your garden. And they say deer will not go near it. They hate that scent of that Irish Spring soap. I mean, that would be a cheap enough try, if you could put that out, if the area wasn't too big. And my brother in North Carolina, he always had a beautiful garden. But he said about the time his tomato plants started coming in, he said, I'd go out there and look at the tomato plants one day, and the tomatoes were almost ready to pick. They were starting to turn. He'd go out there the next day, and every one of those tomatoes were gone. The deer got in there and ate every one of them. He said, I didn't even get to eat a tomato. The deer would eat them before I could get them. I said I'd have been picking green tomatoes and putting them on my counter and letting them ripen on my counter. And he had a whole row of blueberries. I mean, a long row, because he had a big lot for a yard. And he said the deer just made a smorgasbord out of his yard. They'd go down, up and down that row of blueberries and eat blueberries. They'd go in the garden, they'd eat his tomatoes. Anything in the garden they wanted, they ate. He said, I almost gave up on planting a garden. And I told him about the Irish Spring, but I don't know that he ever tried it. I read that somewhere on Garden Tips or something where they said to just cut up Irish Spring in cubes and put it in some kind of cheesecloth or a lady's stocking, a piece of it, and tie it around the garden. And they get the scent of it, and the deer don't like it, so they won't come near it. I had pumpkins one year and the animals ate them all. Well, my bugs are eating everything I get coming in my garden right now. I haven't even gotten one little cucumber. Went out there one day and I had a little green cucumber that long. Went out there the next day and just happened to be looking to see if it was still there. It was gone. Those bugs ate it. And I know they ate it because the whole cucumber disappeared. There was not even a dried up swiveled cucumber left on the vine. It was completely gone. And I went out and checked the whole vines. There's not one little bitty cucumber on there anywhere. Those bugs ate every one of them. I don't have the deer in my garden, but I had them eat habanero pepper plant. Oh, wow. Well, I guess the plant itself is not hot, but the peppers would be. Yeah, I keep saying I've got to transplant my bell pepper and see if I can get some of them to grow on the patio back here in those little pots that I planted the turmeric in. I think I may do that hopefully tomorrow, or try to. Tomorrow or Tuesday. I kept telling my son that whenever I can transplant them and get them to grow and the bugs don't eat them up, maybe I'll have one or two to give him. I've had the worst time with my garden this year I ever have the whole time I've been planting a garden out here. But the weather, these bugs coming in from other countries are just devouring my garden. Now I've had possum, raccoons, and stuff like that come in my garden. And one year I had the cantaloupe planted in my tower, that green stalk tower. And I had a couple of cantaloupe hanging down toward the bottom, and I kept waiting for them to ripen up. And I said, well, those things ought to be ripening in a day or two. I got to keep my eye on them. Next time I went out there and looked, half of one of my cantaloupes was gone. The next day I went out there, the other cantaloupe was completely gone off of the vine. And people told me, well, that had to be a raccoon, because a raccoon will just take the whole thing and take it away with him. So it was either possum or raccoons that got my cantaloupe that year. Orlando got fed up with all the tourists because the traffic gets so bad. They refer to Mickey Mouse as Mickey the rat. Tourists do bring in, yeah. Tourists, they've brought a lot of money into Granbury. That's why this town has grown the way it has. And sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes it's not a good thing. You know, I've heard the people that live in New Orleans, they don't stay there for Mardi Gras. They plan their vacations around Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras time comes, they leave New Orleans and go on vacation. They come back after Mardi Gras is over. I said, really? They said, yeah, because they get tired of all the tourists coming in and just taking over their town during Mardi Gras. He said you can't do or go anywhere during Mardi Gras. The place is swamped. I've never been there, so, you know. Barbara said she's surrounded. I'm beginning to be surrounded by new neighbors. I had new neighbors over here. The ones across the street moved. The house is up for sale. Oh, and I saw a for sale sign next door here. You know, this house is just a year old, so evidently the couple that were living there right after it was built leased it for a year. And now it's up for sale because they moved. The people on the other side of their house moved, and they've been here for many years. But she told me they were wanting to build a house, and I'm sure that's why they moved. They moved somewhere where they found a lot more property to build a house on, because the way their lots are set up, they got 2 lots, but one is up here and one is back here behind it, so it's 50 foot wide all the way through it. And they didn't really want to try to build a decent sized house on a lot like that. I mean, they would have had a huge backyard. They could have used the whole backyard, the back lot, as a backyard, but I think they found some place that they rather build than here. And I don't blame them. I mean, I bought 3 lots because I was wanting to build a house many years ago here. And I got the other lots to make it 3 to where I'd have space for my yard and the bigger house, which I never got to build. It used to be so quiet, rich people from Florida and Maryland. So now it got noisy. You're surrounded by new neighbors. Well, they're probably a lot younger than the other people were. I mean, it drove me crazy in the beginning. Everybody that moved around me had a great big dog. And when the dogs were in their backyard, I know they were in a fenced backyard, but I could go in my garden and do anything. That dog would start barking at me. I'd go back here, that dog would start barking. And I had a dog over here, then they tied one up over here next to the street. 4 or 5 dogs barking at you when you're trying to work in your garden. I mean, that don't work. And they were big dogs. They weren't those little bitty chihuahuas or little tiny dogs. But you know, you can't blame them. I mean, if people want a dog, they have a right to have a pet. It's just the fact that every single one of the neighbors had a new dog. Every one of the new neighbors had dogs. It's like, oh my God, dog heaven. Well, they're starting to build those huge mansions here too. I mean, this was like a resort area. People were building small homes, putting in mobile homes, campers, manufactured homes, but they were small. And now everybody that gets these lots, all these builders are trying to take up the whole lot with a big old house. So you have no yard and nowhere to put your septic. Because we don't have city sewage here. And they've had to put in aerobic systems, and they don't have room to put in sprinklers. So they have to bury drip lines under the grass for their septic to drain in. And usually the yard is all wet, standing in water. It makes a mess. And if you got every house on a 50-foot lot doing that, you got mosquitoes. Plus the neighbors that rented this place across the street, they said when the yard was standing in water like that, it stunk. It smelled bad because it was sewer water, you know. It was treated with chemicals, but still it was sewer water. Well, thank God I didn't smell it over here. Well, see, we have city water here. You can't even put down your own well here. Sorry about that, y'all. Get a cough drop in my mouth and see if that'll help. Oh. But what I was going to say, if we had sewage here, city sewage, houses that close wouldn't make any difference because the sewage, the drip lines wouldn't be in their yard. It goes through that pipe and it goes through the city sewage. It's not going to be dispersed on everybody's lot. And that's a big difference between having a real small lot and having a gigantic house on it and then having to have your own sewage system in your yard. The small lots are just not big enough to take care of that much water. And that's one reason, from the last I heard, they're going to require the people that want to build these big homes, they've got to have at least 2 lots. Now, if they want a smaller home, they can have it on 1 lot. But they can't build these big ones like it's behind me on another 1 lot. And I was so glad to hear that. Well, our city water here is really good. I mean, there's really no smell to it. You don't taste chemicals in it. You can boil water in a pot and you don't have sand in the bottom of your pot. Now, the city water, you can boil it in a pot to make coffee or something, and you got like what looks like sand in the bottom. And it's just the chemicals and sediment from the water. So I don't know what the difference in the water treatment is that it does that. But how I found out about it, I worked at Lum's Shoe Store many years ago. It's not even here anymore. And Patsy, a person that I met there that worked there, ended up being a real good friend to me. When she was showing me around the store and showing me what we did and everything, she took me in the back and she said, well, we make coffee here and, we get water here. And she said, but I want to warn you. She said, don't ever get the last cup of coffee. And she said, when we make coffee and it runs low, I'll show you. It was because in the bottom of the coffee pot, it looked like sand, looked like white sand. And it was just nothing but the chemicals and sediment from the water. And she said, usually when I make coffee here, I bring a gallon jug of water from home. I don't even use the water here. I bring water from home to make the coffee with. She said these other people just use the water here. They just don't drink the last cup. No, I didn't hear about any cyber attacks on water systems. What's that all about, Barbara? Yeah, I heard about that. Minneapolis was hit and other cities were hit too. What's going on with cyber attacks on water systems? I haven't heard anything about it. But I live in a sheltered world right here. I don't get out. I don't keep up with the world stuff. Iran and China, I bet. Who knows? Well, what are they able to do? You mean hitting the water systems? What are they actually doing to the water systems? Yeah, there's Lucky. He just jumped out of his chair. He's going to get him something else to eat. On the water. Are you going to watch the Disney Princess? I don't know. Maybe, Joshua. Sabotaging them. Oh my God. So they can't use their water. Thank goodness my AC unit just cut off. You think they're messing with the food too? Oh no. That's scary. Better watch what you buy from the store and, all. But, how do you know? Just like half the time your produce is contaminated with something. And you don't know that until you eat it and get sick. Or they tell about it on the news that they're recalling something. That's terrible. Our AC is on 24/7. Our last electric bill was pretty high. Mine was 240 something. It'll probably be 300 this next time. It usually hits 300 at least one time a month, one time in the summer. And then after that, it goes back down. I just hate to see what it's going to look like when it does go up to 300. How much over that it's going to be. I dread to even get it. Because like I said, my central air comes on at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it doesn't start turning off and coming back on till about now. So that's quite a few hours in between. Now they say salmonella. Well, see, that's what I got infected with from that peanut butter that I got that time. I think Lucky wants to go outside. Well, he hasn't scratched on the door yet. He's at the back door. I tell you, it's bad because when you're dealing with other countries, there's no telling what they're going to retaliate and do back to you. Yeah, he wants to go out. He's scratching at the door. He probably has to go to the bathroom. There you go. Whew. Well, look at that. My camera lit up and then it got dark again. Yeah, I was just going to say we've been on here a lot longer than I wanted to be tonight. We've been on here for almost 2.5 hours. I got to go too. There's other things I need to do. Thanks each and every one of you for coming into the live chat tonight, the newcomers especially, and the old comers. And y'all sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Stay cool, and I'll see you next time. Love y'all. Bye.